Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. I'm excited to be continuing my journey here with you on Points of Light Radio. And one of the reasons for that is we'll be investigating an organization that I've been trying to feature here on Points of Light Radio and trying to get in touch with for almost a year. And that organization is the Mystic Order of Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm. That's a lot to say, but they are often referred to simply as the Grottos. Okay? Now, just to give you some insight, on or around September 10th, 1889, the members of Hamilton Lodge number 120, Free and Accepted Masons of Hamilton, New York, were planning a Royal Arch degree under the auspices of the Cyrus Chapter number 50 Royal Arch Masons. Now, the group found that they got along so well that they continued to meet, even after the degree had been conferred. And soon the men, as guys often do when they get together, began playing friendly pranks on each other, which only heightened their fellowship. And those kinds of things do tend to bring lads together. It wasn't long before other nearby brothers wished to join the group, which by that time had taken on the name the Fairchild Deviltry Committee. I hope I said that right, in honor of the ringleader, Brother Leroy Fairchild. Now, the lodges meet in grottos, the equivalent of a lodge. And to join, one must be a master mason. So in other words, belong to what they call down there, third degree Blue Lodge, or in the rest of Canada here, we call it the Craft Lodge, right? The grotto is often referred to as a playground for Freemasons. And they sound like a lot of fun. And today's guest is Mark Victoria. He's the Charter Monarch for the Chi-Ill Grotto in Chicago, Illinois, and a member of the Nox Lux Grotto in Texas. As I said, I've been trying to feature the grotto here on Points of Light Radio for as long as I've been doing this podcast, so I'm so excited. This is happening a lot lately. Do you not notice that? It's happening a lot lately, where I'm finally getting in touch with some of these organizations and featuring them. It's beautiful. But, with that in mind, let's have Mr. Victoria shed some light on the grottos. But are you still thirsty for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then you just trim your lamp and follow me.
Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Okay. Mr. Victoria, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
How's it going?
Very good, thank you. Why don't you tell my listeners and viewers about yourself?
I guess first and foremost, I am an Illinois Freemason. I'm from the Chicagoland area, and I was raised, I want to say 2018. Yeah, about 2018. No, not 2018. I'm sorry, 2008. So, raised 2008, and one of the first pendant bodies I joined right after I got raised was the Grotto.
Okay, now that's what you're here to talk about today, but it's also known as the Mystic Order of Veiled Prophets and Enchanted Realm, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. So that's our official moniker, is the Mystic Order of Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm. But obviously that's a mouthful, so we call ourselves the Grotto.
Okay, now tell us about the Grotto. First of all, what grotto do you belong to?
I belong to two grottos, actually. So I am a charter member of Chi-Ill Grotto, which is out here in Chicago. So Chi-Ill is basically short for Chicago, Illinois. And then also I am also a charter member of Nox Lux Grotto, which is out of Temple, Texas.
Okay. So, but tell us a little bit more about the grotto now. Like, what exactly do they do?
Uh, so the grotto is more of a is pretty much like I want to call it like a fellowship um part of the fraternity. So we focus more on friendship and good fellowship, and we like to have fun. So like on the same plane of the like the shrine, basically. So we're more of that than the York Rite or like the Scottish Rite, where you have the degrees and all that. This is just more of a social aspect of Freemasonry.
Okay, so you said that the the grottos sow kindness and reap friendship and good fellowship. Now, how exactly do you do that?
Honestly, it really just depends on the grotto and the profit of itself. I mean, there are grottos out there that are all, almost all bikers. And so, what they do is just go out and, ride their bikes and enjoy fellowship like that. Some grottos are just more supper clubs and just enjoy breaking bread together. Grottos like ourselves, like for actually for Chi-Ill and Nox Lux, we like to get together and just do different things. I mean, I think for Chi-Ill, we've done obviously, like bowling events and dinners, and we've held our own like private comedy events, baseball games. So I mean, it really is just like whatever you really want to make it.
And now, when you're doing this, what are you doing? Raising money for the grotto itself, or for charities, or for
So our main philanthropy is the Humanitarian Foundation,
Okay.
and we like to call it the special dentistry for special kids. So basically, any kid that has cerebral palsy and just a bunch of other um, conditions like that, we provide them dental care free of charge. For for when we go to get, just a regular 6 month checkup, cleaning and all that stuff, we just sit in the dentist chair, sit back, relax, and and let the dental hygienist pretty much go to town on our teeth. For somebody with cerebral palsy, or someone of that condition, it can be a traumatizing thing, because obviously they don't know what's going on, so they have to put them under, and maybe, put some anesthesia on them. And so it's obviously a costly thing. So we like to, sign families up with kids like that, and provide that for, free of charge for them.
Okay. And now you became a master mason, you said, and you joined the first dependent body you joined was the grotto. Now, is that
Correct.
main qualification of it?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the main qualification is you have to be a master mason, to join the grotto.
Okay. Now, and of course, a master mason, I suppose, in good standing, you they're going to check whether or
Correct.
not you attended your meetings, whether what exactly your record would have been in your primary lodge.
Yeah, I mean, we love to make sure that obviously we'd like to stress Blue Lodge comes first. So if my lodge says, hey, I need you to come this night because we're having an OV, an official visit, sure, okay, I'll gladly do that. Uh, but but yeah, no, it's yeah, you have to just be a master mason, and we just make sure you're a member in good standing.
Okay. And what exactly, shall we say, does the grotto do that, let's just say, other fun bodies of Freemasonry, like the Shrine or the Psyots, doesn't?
That's a good question, actually. I think it's more, at least for us, is we're not as big per se as the shrine in a lot of places, and which honestly I'm fine with that, just for the fact that we have more say in what we want to do. And as I said before, we got prophets that are bikers. We got prophets, that like to eat out, and prophets like just like to do a lot of things. So we're not really constrained to, hey, here's a shrine club doing this only, and then another shrine club doing that only. Like we can pretty much mold the grotto to what we can, what we want. And the other thing is, the Supreme line, which is the governing body for all the grottos. They're just, these guys love to party and just hang out with us as well too. I mean, I know when I went to the Supreme session a few years ago, we had one of the Supreme line guys pretty much. Let's just say we took some incriminating photos of him doing let's just say late night shenanigans.
Oh, okay. And now that's the second time you did say that. Prophets, you use that term. What are these
Right.
prophets? Who are they?
Prophets is what we call pretty much anybody that's a grotto mason. So you know how there's the shrine, the Shriners, or the nobles, like what they call them, or if you're New York rights, especially the capitular degrees, they're called the companions, or in the commandery of the Sir Knights, we'd like to call ourselves prophets.
Okay. Now, what are the offices, shall we say, within within the grottos?
The office is so our equivalent to Worshipful Master is the Monarch.
Okay.
And then it's I think I'm going to get roasted by pretty much all my other fellow prophets here, but I know it's Monarch, Chief Justice, Venerable Prophet, and I know it just goes down the line. It almost kind of mimics the York Rite, to be honest with you,
Okay.
because a bunch of the founding members of the Grotto, back in the early 1900s or 1800s, sorry, back in the 1800s, were York Rite members. So they took a lot of like the offices, the name like Sentinel. We have Sentinel there as well as the York Rites.
Okay. And that's another thing you talked about. Is there a degree system within the grottos, or?
No, pretty much any Master Mason decides, hey, I want to be a Grotto member. You show up, and we like to, at least for Chi-Ill, you show up and you're pretty much you just get a short form initiation, and then some grottos like to do long form initiation, which is like a 7 act play, and
Wow, that would
some
take
of
a
it is like
while.
kind of like a shortened play, but yeah, it's just like 1 degree. You're pretty much you're a prophet, right then and there.
Seven, seven, seven play initiation. How long would that take? Hours?
I want to say so. I've never seen it. We've only done a short form of it,
And how long
which
does
is like a
that take?
3 act play, and that takes like about probably hour and a half at the most. That's including a little bit of costume changes and some prop
Yeah.
changes.
Okay. That's interesting. Very interesting. Right. And so what's your dress code?
It
Like, I
really
know
really
in the lodge, in the
depends.
primary lodges, it's in blue lodges, as you call them down there. It's,
In Blue
suit and
Lodges,
tie affair.
honestly, like Blue Lodges really, and I mean, all it really depends on. Even in Illinois, it's different because I know up here in Chicago, there's some lodges that love to do 3-piece suits and tuxes,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then you got rural Illinois downstate, and they'll come in bib overalls,
Whoa.
and so I mean, yeah, so that's
That
what
doesn't
it is for
that
Blue
surprise
Lodges,
me.
and yeah, and for Grotto, basically same thing. I mean, I know for us for Chi-Ill, we like to wear our black Dickies and has our name on it and all that. And we have Hawaiian shirts that we wear to our meetings. I have like a baseball jersey. We have a smoking jacket.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it's really like whatever we really want to make it. And that's what I love about the Grotto.
Yeah, it's kind of laid back. I agree with you. Well,
Oh, it's really laid back.
well, and how long are your meetings usually?
It's the meetings in and of itself, the stated meetings in and of itself can be as short as 30 minutes.
Okay.
I've made sure to make it really short. Let's pay the bills, let's get the new news out, and then let's get on and actually have fellowship. So the meeting in of itself could last maybe a half hour at the most.
Okay.
And it's just like your typical, new business, old business, paying of the bills
Yeah.
and all that. But the fellowship before and afterwards, although that can last hours. I mean, our meeting, it's dinner 6 o'clock, gavels at 7 o'clock, but there's guys that come in 4:30, 5 o'clock, and none of us leave at least until like 11 p.m.
Wow. And is it the same with your Blue Lodges? Did you have like your passwords and your secret handshakes and things that your grips as they, I guess, as you call them? Do you have those with the grotto?
We don't have any grips or anything like that. But I mean, we have our due signs and summons.
Okay.
We have our due signs, and we also have our inside and outside passwords.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, first of all, what drew you to Freemasonry? What did you want?
That one is actually pretty much my short answer. But obviously, I'll expound on that. Is family. So my grandfather was a Freemason in the Philippines, and I never got a chance to meet him. He actually died before I was born. But my uncle was a Freemason. Obviously, inspired him to be a Freemason. And for some reason, my dad didn't. I'm not sure why. And that's the crazy part too. My grandfather had six boys, and only one joined Freemasonry. That was my uncle. But I always remember growing up, going to my uncle's house, like in a couple towns over, and seeing all the Masonic stuff, the square and compass, the G, and him getting his gavel and his top hat and all that. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So it always like was ingrained in me early on, and not until I really grew up, post college, where I was just like, huh, okay. Oh, so this is Freemasonry, okay, and got more into it, and I'm like, okay, I think this is what I want to do.
Okay. Well, now I noticed you said the first thing you did after you became a Master Mason was go to the grotto. Why? Why not the
Right.
Royal Arch? Why not Scottish Rite? Why did you first move? That's interesting.
I I think for me, growing up, I've always wanted to be the person not going with the trend. And going to my Blue Lodge, getting, even from my first degree up to my third degree, everyone's saying like, oh yeah, we got this shrine event, we got that shrine event, or hey, we got this Scottish Rite event, because those are the two pretty much, I won't say big bodies in the Chicagoland area, is the Scottish Rite and the shrine. And so I was like, like that seems cool, but it really, I don't think it's not really, I wasn't really feeling it. So I was like, okay. When I became a Master Mason, I decided, okay, let me take a look around the internet, see, what other bodies there are. And, I got into Wikipedia and I saw like the appendant bodies of Freemasonry, and I saw, all this stuff like York Rite, Scottish Rite, Shrine, and then I saw the Mystic Order of Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm. I'm like, okay, this is different. And then I went to their website and I just saw all this, and I'm just like, okay. And then, clicked on it more and found out there's one that was not too far from my house. So I decided, hey, why not? And here I am.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And do you belong to any other bodies of Freemasonry? Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, my checkbook hates me every
Okay.
beginning of the year. So I am a member of two lodges out here. So I'm a member of that, the Grotto, two grottos.
Okay.
So there's that. The Valley Chicago Scottish Rites. I am a member of the York Rite out here, and I think of the York Rites, I'm a member of two councils, cryptic councils.
Wow.
What else am I a member of? I'm a member of the Knight Masons,
Night
High 12
Mason.
International, and the Widow Sons, and Order Eastern Star. So yeah, it could be a
Wow.
busy man sometimes.
Wow. That's interesting. Well, you got to come back and talk about some of those with me. I know that Widow's Sons. I've been trying to do an interview with them for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just just got fully patched and branded not too long ago, probably over like this past year. So but I know I definitely would love to come back and talk, and I have guys that are, I wouldn't say more involved, but you know know more about it than I do.
Okay.
They would love to talk about it.
Now, are there any plans? Like, we don't have grottos up here in Canada. And I
You
noticed,
had one in London, Ontario.
do
I'm
we?
not sure if they're still around or if they had to be disbanded, but I remember when I first joined, and up until I want to say 2016, you had one there.
Okay. But are there any plans to expand it to the rest of, to other parts of the world or other outside of the USA more, shall we say, than they are?
So our we had some of the Supreme Line guys actually just come back from Mexico to open up a couple of grottos there. We're really looking for westward expansion. I know it was El Salvador. We just had a couple guys come up from there to come up to Cincinnati. That's where we had our Supreme session, and I mean those guys were a hoot. They were amazing. They were really really fun. So it's great seeing the grotto pretty much take hold in Latin America. And we have a couple of prophets that are in the Philippines that are really trying to, plant some seeds out there as well too. Because I know, us being, like us Filipinos, we really, really love our Freemasonry, and
I saw
I
that
know we love to enjoy ourselves a little too much sometimes, but I know, grotto would be perfect out there.
in the Philippines too. Like you say, you're Filipino, so do they have them in the Philippines? I know there's, like you say, a lot of fraternalism getting huge in the Philippines. I noticed.
Oh, it is.
But what about the grottos? Are they there yet?
Not yet, not
No.
yet. Yeah,
Maybe
we have a prophet that's out there because his wife is Filipino,
excellent.
and so he's trying to get that. And I know I want to say he's the guy. He's the Grand Junior Warden. I want to say Grand Junior Warden, Grand Senior Warden of Arkansas. He's Filipino as well too, and he's trying to get that out there as well.
Now you talked about your dues and your checkbook hating you. What are the dues for the grotto?
It it really depends on the grotto, but I know at least for me, it's $50 a year.
That's not bad.
Uh,
That's reasonable.
no,
For all
it
that
is
fun,
very
it is very
reasonable.
reasonable. Yeah.
It is very reasonable. But I know it's something that us as a whole we need to talk about in general. Because like per capita keep raising, so we need to maybe up it. But I mean, it's within reason. It's nothing.
Okay.
It's nothing bank breaking.
Well worth it for the amount of fun, as I said.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it.
Now, I've heard it said that in Freemasons, in the Freemasons, you learn a lot about yourself as you go through the degree system and through the different appendant bodies. What did you learn about yourself in the grottos?
I think I I remember talking to my wife about this, and it really humbled me, just because I it's crazy to think that there's other brothers out there, like all around the United States. So Texas, for example, obviously, Florida, East Coast, like Ohio, New York, that come out and like want to visit, and my name gets mentioned out there and stuff like that, which is a very humbling thing. And to think, okay, like, your name is being thrown out there almost, I wouldn't say nationwide, but I mean, for lack of a better term, nationwide, it's a very humbling thing. And I think that's something that I really learned. And for me, obviously just traveling, kind of really got me out of my bubble, because people like to laugh, but I actually say that I'm an introvert, by nature. But the only time I'm really not an introvert is when I'm with all my grotto guys.
Yeah, and I will say that having been in different, on a personal level, belonging to some of the other fraternal organizations, I'm not a Mason, but I have belonged to them. You really get a sense of what you're in when you get together with other lodges or other people from other lodges, you really go, whoa, this is bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it really is. Like, you know it's big, but this is really something else. I mean, and how it brings people together as well.
It is. It is. It's a crazy thing too. I mean, especially for for me personally, we've had friends that come out from Texas, from Tennessee, from Florida, that stay at our, like, my house personally, like with me and my wife, obviously in the guest bedroom. But I mean, like, we were like, yeah, come on out. You guys are family now. I have a 18-month-old daughter, and she basically has just so many aunts and uncles out there, and grandpas and grandmas, that it's something that it's an awesome like family atmosphere, to have my family in.
And what do you feel it has to offer other Freemasons, shall we say?
Sorry.
What do you think that the grottos have to offer other Freemasons?
It's as I said before, it's whatever you really want to make it, and I know, like, at least with Freemasonry, I like to kind of give the example, we like to go from labor to refreshments, and how, like, obviously Blue Lodge is important, and, we need to do our work and all that. But, when you're at refreshment, you're relaxed, and, you're enjoying yourselves, you're enjoying your brother, you're enjoying the brotherhood. That's what Grotto is. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. We
It's a
like
whole
to
different
enjoy
level of
ourselves.
brotherhood.
Yeah, yeah. And it's something that we just love to do, and it's something that you'd really you're like you're kind of like, I won't say, like, for the first time guys that join the grotto, you're kind of like, whoa, what's all this about, type of a thing. But, like, once you start getting into the groove and getting to know the people and all the other prophets, then you're like, I like this. I like this.
Okay. Well, Mr. Victoria, I'm so happy you showed up. You came by tonight and shed some light here on the grotto, and I appreciate your time. And all the best to you and your grottos.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed your podcast. Just love listening to all, like, the different different fraternal orders, and the guys you brought on and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm thankful you had me on.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Mark Victoria, brothers and sisters, shedding light on the mystic order of veiled prophets of the enchanted realm. That's the last time I'm going to say that. Okay. But what did you think? Some things I took away from this conversation is, once again, Freemasonry is not something that you really can get bored of. There's so much to do and so much to learn, not just about the organization, but about yourself, as you seen him talk about here, right? And there's something here again for everybody, from the motorcyclist to the bookworm to the person who just wants to have some fun, for that matter. There's something for everybody. And I also feel that after watching this, that Freemasonry also sounds something you can very easily be drawn further into. Like he talked about, as soon as he became a master mason, he began to look into it a little further, right? See what else there was to do and to learn. And that's great, right? And as I keep, and here again, he talked about $50 a year for lodge fees. And for all the fun it sounds like you have, that's money well spent, and money well worth spending, for that matter. And it's great to see that this organization is growing. We'll definitely have to have Mr. Victoria back here in Points of Light Radio, because I have wanted to cover the Widow's Sons for quite some time, as well as some of those other organizations he talked about. So let's have him back here. I'm going to hold him to his word that he's going to come back. I love having repeat guests, but especially when they're involved in organizations I haven't covered before, hey, even better, right? And I am going to include, I hope I say this right, the Chi-Ill Grotto Facebook links in the details section of this podcast. But that's all I have time for in this particular segment, brothers and sisters. But before I go, as usual, I want to draw your attention to the fact that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also, as I always say, I welcome your comments and input. I appreciate a lot of the commentary that I get, but I want to see more of it. Okay, I know there's a lot of people watching and listening to this. I want to see more comments and input. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. And I want you to do that. It's not enough to just listen and watch. I also want you to follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page, right? You can also follow me on my Twitter handle at PO Light Radio. I want to see you doing that as well. You can also listen to my Points of Light Radio on my Spotify channel, which you can see the link to, and you can also see the link to my Points of Light Radio store. But, brothers and sisters, it's been, as usual, it's been a pleasure fellowshipping with you, but until we meet again, just step into the light.